This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
So I'm watching the World Series game last night, and those Philly throwbacks just brought me sadness from 1980. They said they last wore them in 1983, but these are unis they wore in the 1980 World Series as well, in which they won. They
pretty sweet looking.
Oh, I know, but it gave me sadness. But you're right, they're pretty sweet looking. Didn't necessarily help out. Didn't help them out a whole lot though, because they lost the ball game 3-2. I don't know if they're going to mothball them or anything like that, because I think but hadn't worn them in almost 40 years.
So you're saying that a uniform doesn't guarantee a win in a game, Chuck?
Well, it's a contributing factor. How about that? By the way, the Red Raiders are going to wear throwbacks to the Billy Joe Tolliver era. And Coach McGuire talked about how he had been in conversation with Billy Joe, and he said in his day he was 4-0 during his time at Texas Tech against TCU. Okay?
Good. We could use some of that.
Yeah, we could use some of that. So you'll have some Billy Joe kind of throwbacks. They'll have a black helmet, white jersey, and red pants tomorrow. That'll be the combination. And also they're battling for the saddle. Coach McGuire is convinced that there's a conspiracy with regard to the previous saddle, because they've got a relatively new saddle. This is not brand new, but he thinks that the old saddle was stolen by Texas Tech quarterback Rodney Allison his senior year when they won. He thinks it's in Rodney's garage.
Well, okay.
If it is, I don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, he seems like someone who deserves it.
Yeah. So, but they're going to try to bring it back, and then maybe hopefully there'll be a little cactus kind of thing added to the saddle. Coach McGuire did say he was going to wear a cactus shirt today on the plane. Okay, but they hadn't really talked a whole lot about the cactus thing. They're focused on other stuff.
That's good.
So he'll leave that to other folks. So with regard to the black, white, red, this is not good when you look at the uniform watch. Black helmets, white jerseys, red pants. In this particular combination, since they've been doing the uniform watch, 0-4. But as Billy Joe pointed out, he was 4-0 during his time.
Why even get on the plane? Why even get on the plane?
Well, you want to get you want to have your shot.
Save the money, put it into our cross country program.
Okay.
Why even get on the plane?
Okay. Well, they're gonna give it a go. They're gonna tempt fate, Jamie. They're gonna tempt fate with the uniforms. Here's a couple of thoughts, and because there's been a limited amount of discussion, but quite a bit of discussion about it. So on the number of times that you've gone for it on fourth down so far this year, this is a stat that Texas Tech has thrown out, and I think it's an interesting one. You have scored 86 points when being successful on fourth down so far this season. Okay?
Okay.
Texas Tech so far this year is 22. Let me get this exactly right here for you. They're 22 of 36 on fourth down. Okay? So in the times that you've been successful, those that have culminated in scores, you've got 86 points. The defense.
What about the times that wouldn't you have to subtract off? Well, a lot of times you're going for it inside the 5 or whatever, and you score touchdowns, you would have had a field goal anyway. So you probably could subtract 3 from all of those.
Sure.
You got 4 more than you would have if you had kicked it.
Sure. But, I don't know what the net gain. Yeah, that's a fair that's a fair thought.
What if you go for it twice for fourth down on the same drive? Do you count those points twice?
No,
just once?
No, just once. But I think more impressively, the defense has only given up 20 points on the failures. And I think that's the more impressive stat than the 86, that's a pretty impressive number because you've gambled and won, right? 22 out of 36. But when you have failed and you've put your defense in a bad spot, they've only given up 20 points.
Yeah, defense has done well in that area.
The other thing that was, I thought, pretty interesting was on the 15 interceptions that you have had this year so far, you've given up 34 points. 21 of those 34 have been pick sixes. So 13 points off of the remaining interceptions.
We've thrown 15 picks this year. Gosh, that seems like a lot.
Well, we didn't have 15 before the last game.
Gosh.
It looked a lot better before the last game.
So we're averaging about 2 a game.
242 of 391 for 2,704 yards and 15 interceptions. So really part of what's hurting you, obviously, is when you turn the ball over, you're limiting your offensive possessions. Okay? I mean, that's elementary, right?
Yes, sir.
But I guess the point is that your defense has really responded, and Coach McGuire talked about how he was really proud of how the defense has responded to bad things.
Yeah, no, I would definitely agree with that.
Yeah. One of the things that they would like to do from an offensive standpoint is to, in essence, help slow the game down a little bit for his offense, especially to put the guys in a good spot. Yeah, they did say the game's slowing down a little bit for Baron Morton, but they not necessarily slow the pace down, but just, and I don't know that I can really explain it other than I guess they want it to flow so that it's a little bit better for them so that they're not, I don't know, maybe in just a panic, so to speak. He didn't use that word, but does that make any sense to you?
I mean, if you're playing with tempo, it's hard to slow the game down.
No. Right. But I think maybe in their minds, he wants the game to slow down a little bit.
I think everybody wants the game to be slow in their minds.
Yeah.
That's
Somebody asked about the status of Miles Price for tomorrow. I looked at my notes from Monday. I think he's good to go. He's not listed as not.
He played last week, kind of.
Yeah.
Had a big drop for you in the first half. Had one catch last week.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of that's one of the guys that you would definitely love to see step up.
Yeah.
It's been a bit of a disappointment. I mean, he's just a talented guy who just a couple different injuries have really derailed him this year. And you could probably say the struggles with the quarterback have something to do with it too. But it's a guy I expected to be your go-to, maybe your star on offense, and that definitely has not been the case.
No, the guys that he listed as questionable or out included Dimitri Moore and Monroe Mills. There was no mention of the and Dimitri Moore was.
I really like Moore.
Yeah, it was he said on Monday he should be back, but it was an ankle was his challenge. Remember, he went off in the second half, kind of tweaked his ankle. So should be back. And then Monroe Mills, I don't know what his status is. That was not discussed last night. So that's kind of a thing there for you too. 6:40 this morning on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com with Jamie Lent, Jeff McGuire, Chuck Heinz, you as well. Look forward to hearing from you on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to double-T973.com for that, or the mobile app. He did also say, and we'll get into this a little bit more in terms of coming back, that Tony Bradford had another year of eligibility. So he's trying to encourage him to come back, especially if his draft stock isn't kind of what he wants it to be. He's got another year. He's going to get his master's in the spring, but could come back and play next year for the Red Raiders.
That's a quality dude.
No doubt.
Quality football player, too.
No doubt.
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
Was it impressive?
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is November the 4th, 2022. We'll get to a secret word here in just a moment, but first, here's Jeff McGuire.
1934, after posting 7 straight shutouts to start the NFL season, the Detroit Lions beat the Pittsburgh Steelers 40-7 at University of Detroit Stadium, scored upon for the first time of the season, rushed for an NFL single-season record for 426 yards.
Nice.
1953, new baseball park rule gives batter the option. New baseball balk rule gives the batter the option of accepting the outcome of a pitch or the balk. That makes sense to me.
Yeah, so that means the guy can swing at it, and if he hits it over the fence, it's not a dead ball. Mm-hmm. And the runner advances, and the hitter just takes nothing. It's a 2-run homer.
Is that still today?
Yeah.
Still?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
1959, Chicago Cubs shortstop Ernie Banks wins his second consecutive National League MVP. 1973, New Orleans Saints first shutout victory, 13-0 over Jamie's Buffalo Bills.
Archie Manning, maybe the quarterback in that game? Does that say that?
I don't have that here. I don't know if he was the quarterback in 73 or not. Today would be a good day to be an Islanders fan, specifically in 78 and in 1980. Because in 78, they start a 15-game undefeated streak where they start the season 12-0-3. 2 years later, they would start the season of another 15-game win streak or undefeated streak, and they would start at 13-0-2. 1987, the NBA announces 4 new franchises. The Charlotte Hornets, the Miami Heat, and in 1988, we would be joined by the Minneapolis Timberwolves and the Orlando Magic for 89. 2001, American tennis star Serena Williams wins the WTA Tour Championship in Munich, Germany, after Lindsay Davenport defaults the final due to a knee injury. That would be Williams' first season-ending title. And in 2009, in the World Series, New York Yankees beat the Philadelphia Phillies 7-3 in Game 6 at Yankee Stadium to win the Bronx Bombers' record 27th title. It is National Candy Day. So, have a piece of candy.
It's always a good day for candy.
Instead of doing birthdays for today first, we're going to skip to tomorrow because it's just much cooler. Tomorrow, happy birthday, Rayford Young.
Okay.
45.
One of my favorite Red Raiders.
Today, Ralph Macchio, 62. P. Diddy, 53. Matthew McConaughey, 53. Des Bryant, 34. Laura Bush, 76. And Eric Karros is 54. And
Des Bryant's only 34?
Uh-huh.
Wow.
I was surprised he was that old, actually.
Okay.
I mean, he was just catching touchdown passes in Jones Stadium, it feels like, a few weeks ago. Mm-hmm. I mean, it wasn't, obviously. He had an NFL career between the two. But in this day in 1990, one of Jamie's favorite movies.
Waterworld?
No. Dances with Wolves. Debuts in Los Angeles. The film, which opened across the United States, was a surprise box office success and earned 12 Academy Award nominations, including Best Actor for Kevin Costner. Dances with Wolves took home 7 Oscars, including Best Picture and Best Director. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, it's time for our secret word of the day. It's brought to you by the Home Zone, where they make your house a home. Your chance to win $10,000. You started the process of notifying the qualifiers?
I have.
Okay, good. So
The ones so far.
The ones so far. So your chance still to get qualified to win. All you have to do is go to WT973.com and enter this in. I'll give you a clue. Prior to Jeff telling us what the New Orleans Saints did on this day in 1973, you would not have given a hoot that Archie Manning went 16 of 33 for 188 yards, threw a touchdown, and rushed 4 times for 23 yards. But if you enter in Owls and win $10,000 as a result of that, you will. Owls is our secret word of the day. Owls, O-W-L-S. Very simple. Owls. So go to
Chuck working on his yoga there.
Double T97.3. What, stretching?
A little bit of a stretch there.
Well, did you at least appreciate the stretch a little bit?
I mean, I appreciated the yoga. That was even beyond stretching.
Okay. Owls is the secret word of the day coming up on November the 18th, which is, 2 weeks from today? Somebody's going to win 10 grand. So be looking for details on all of that. But thanks to the Home Zone and Double T97.3 for providing all of the cashola to bring this to you. All right, 6:51 this morning here on the Morning Drive. Take your thoughts and comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Go to WT973.com for that, or the mobile app. Somebody says this. I think they said the Phillies wore those uniforms on every Thursday for home games all season long. I missed that part of it. Okay, so...
Hey, it was the first home game for the Phillies on a Thursday that Chuck watched this season. So it's the first time it happened. I got you back, Chuck.
It sure felt like it there, didn't it? It didn't sure feel like that Jeff had my back there.
Yeah, it did.
Okay. Going back to Red Raider football with Joey McGuire, he talked a little bit. Was asked about the J.J. Sparkman ball. The simultaneous catch in the end zone. He said that he talks to the officials every Monday. Part of it is just trying to learn about their, processes and vocabulary and things like that. But he said that what he was told is the defensive guy for Baylor had his foot down before Sparkman, and that eliminates the simultaneous ball. The simultaneous ball goes to the offense. But because the Baylor guy had his foot down first, that eliminated that, and that Baylor had more of the ball, than J.J. Sparkman.
Yeah, I never questioned the call at all. So I never felt like Sparkman had control of the ball.
Okay.
So I thought the Baylor guy, who had way more leverage, it was easier for him to pull the ball in, had a big advantage over JJ just with his positioning. So I don't think it was that Sparkman didn't fight for it or was weak or anything like that.
Yeah.
It just, quite honestly, it was a poorly thrown ball. It was a up for grabs ball, and the Baylor player had better positioning for it. And I didn't think it was simultaneous catch and that it should go to the offense.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of Red Raider fans tell me that they disagree with that, but.
Okay. The pass interference before the half, Coach McGuire said...
I thought that was horrendous.
He said, we'll talk about that off the air.
Yeah, I thought that one was terrible.
Chris Level said he was still dwelling on that, and Coach McGuire said he was too.
Yeah, I thought that one was horrendous.
Yeah. So...
but you didn't lose the game because of that pass interference call.
I definitely gave him a ton of momentum.
No doubt. Because
You're probably right, Jeff, but it definitely gave him a ton of momentum.
It was a terrible call.
Yeah. Here's something that he was asked. He was asked last night, if you weren't coaching, what would you be doing? This may or may not surprise you. He said that way back in the day, he had an opportunity once to be an analyst on a high school football game for a broadcast, and said if he wasn't coaching, he would love to be a broadcaster. Okay.
Yeah, we got a microphone he can come use anytime.
I'd like him to coach. I like his coaching.
We got a whole off season here that, on a Tuesday he could come in and just hang out. Anytime. Right?
Maybe you'd call later 80s game.
Yeah, he could, replace the guy that's doing it quite ably. And people would be much more entertained with Coach McGuire, I'm sure. Well, we could have him on as a guest. He could be a guest analyst. I'd go to the concession stands, get myself some popcorn, and just sit right behind him.
Like if Coach McGuire came and sat down, Chuck's going to get up and leave. Right.
There's a better chance of Justin Verlander throwing a no-hitter last night, today.
I would say this. Could he make us better? Could he give us a chance to win? All those kinds of things? Yeah, probably give us more of a chance to win. All right, it's just before 7 this morning on the Morning Drive. More Tech football. We'll kind of dissect the game a little bit for you if you haven't already. If you have a score prediction you want to share with us, hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line.
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Fabulous Friday. And if you've got big weekend doings that you want to share, if you're headed to Fort Worthless to see Texas Tech and TCU tomorrow, and you got tailgating plans that you want to share, I mean, it's an early start, so maybe Brick Pie would be on the grill tomorrow morning. They're outside Amon Carter. If you have some cacti to take with you. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line through the Double T 97.3 mobile app presented by Happy State Bank. Bullfighter says this: if I had to describe y'all, I'd say Jeff is the Texas bread, JL is the meat that everyone loves, and Chuck is the mayo that I like but can't eat too much because it gives me a headache.
Mayo gives you a headache?
That's right. That was the takeaway, right? Mayo gives you a headache. But you're the meat that everyone loves.
Yeah, I doubt it.
Oh, wow. That's pretty good.
What is Texas bread? Is that
That's a thicker bread.
Like Texas toast?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just not toasted yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
True.
My bad.
Which I don't know that I've ever seen
In a sandwich.
Texas bread not toasted.
Right.
Like specific, like
Oh, man,
I've seen it you get toasted, but never
Yeah.
just used without being
Make
toasted.
your grilled cheese out of that.
Okay. This 6 yards of carry. Why would TCU throw the ball after watching the Baylor film? The key for this game for Tech is to take 3 and give 0 and keep the TCU offense off the field.
That would be huge.
Yeah. That would be ideal, right? Let's see. Let me see if I can give you a. I don't know if I have a time of possession here. I do. For TCU. Time of possession for TCU. That's pretty even between the offense and the defense. 30 minutes and 48 seconds to 29-12. Third down, they're 47 of 103, 46%. Opponents are 49 of 121, 40%. They're 8 of 15 on fourth down. Opponents are 10 of 19. I mean, here's the thing. They give up points. They average 44. They only give 27.3, but in their conference games. So if you look kind of at
They're
the last
middle of the pack defensively in the Big 12 conference.
Yeah, I mean
You would think this offense would be able to score some points.
Sure.
I would guess if it's a shootout. I mean, TCU's offense is really good, but I don't know. Is Tech better off in a shootout, or would Tech be better off in a low-scoring game? I was about to say that if it's a shootout, maybe the Red Raiders have a better chance, but maybe I changed my mind.
talking yourself out of that, right?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
I feel like shootout is best, especially if your offense is clicking. What you can't afford are long, sustained drives.
If your offense isn't clicking, you probably wouldn't be in a shootout, right?
No, but I mean, I'm just saying.
Shootout means both teams are scoring.
No, I know that, but what I meant by that was shootout was I know they're going to score a lot of points. I feel like you can score a lot of points, but you can't turn the ball over and score a lot of points.
What's the strength of your team? Your defense. I don't like a shootout. I don't like a shootout at all. I want this to be a dirty, muddy, 24-17 type game tops. Mm-hmm. Like first 1 to 20 wins type game. That
Wonder how the grass is there. It's supposed to rain today in Fort Worth.
I think I am gonna go with the defensive-minded game. Would be better off for the Red Raiders. Your defense is a little bit better than theirs.
You make a good point. They beat Oklahoma 55.
I'm with Jeff.
Okay. They beat Oklahoma 55-24. Won at Kansas 38-31. Beat Oklahoma State in 2 overtimes 43-40. Beat K-State 38-28. Won at West Virginia 41-31. So that's kind of what you're dealing with here a little bit. The other thing is that they see if I have this right here for you. I think I do. Yeah. They get off to a fast start. They have outscored their opponents in the first quarter 89-41. And second quarter, they've given up more points than any other quarter. So if you're going to make your hay, that's where teams have made a little hay against them. And then in the fourth quarter, they've closed out well, 83-41.
Mm-hmm. And then that's where, they've had a lot of games that were close, that were in doubt in the fourth quarter, and they've been able to make plays. And I don't know if that's them being more fresh, having more depth, or if they've just made plays. But they definitely have found a way. Someone asked us a really good question on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. And I'm not bringing this up to disparage TCU, but I can't find the question right now. But it was basically, do you really think that TCU is the best team in the conference or the luckiest team in the conference? Can I say both?
Yep.
Because who else are you going to say is the best?
Mm-hmm.
TCU's no doubt caught some breaks. Mm-hmm. No doubt, with injuries to the quarterbacks and all that. There's no question. But
they've also capitalized and taken advantage.
They've taken advantage,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So, I do think they've been lucky with some of that stuff. But at the same time, they beat Oklahoma State, they beat Kansas State, even though clearly Spencer Sanders was not right in that game, and Kansas State had to play 3 quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. We know how that goes.
Yeah, and if the number 2 guy had been able to stay healthy,
you think
they might have won that game.
You think the K-State coach said before the game, we plan to use all 3 of them today?
I doubt that. Chris Clement, yeah.
But I guess I just feel like they're, you like to use this term, team of destiny.
Oh, I haven't used it in quite a while, though.
You mentioned it about one of either the Padres or the Phillies.
Oh, being a team of destiny?
Yeah, I can't remember.
I did that, yeah.
And I kind of usually roll my eyes at that team of destiny stuff. But it just feels like it's all broken right for TCU this year.
Yeah, yeah.
Like things have happened to help them. Like, so I don't know. So I don't want to discount them at all. I'm not trying to do that, but I just don't think they're that far ahead of everybody else in the conference.
Okay, and I think that's fair. I think that's fair.
I really don't.
Mm-hmm. Who would you put as number 2?
Kansas State.
And then Oklahoma State, 3?
No, I'd put Texas there now.
You would? Okay.
Yeah, even though Oklahoma State beat Texas. I don't know, Oklahoma State just lost by 48 or whatever.
Yeah. How
they
close?
Just don't look like the same team that they were at one point.
How close do you think Texas is to K-State? Think it's margin?
We're gonna find out real quick.
Right, because they play this week.
Yes.
Right. I'll ask you on Monday.
Yeah, I've said for a few weeks, I felt like the best 2 teams in the conference are Oklahoma State and Texas. I don't know that I've bounced too far off of that from Texas, but man, that Quinn Ewers performance against Oklahoma State, 19 of 49, that's hard to be that bad. 11 of 34 rivals it though.
Yeah. Just a couple things here on TCU. Red zone scoring, 29 successful times out of 33 attempts. They're 24 of 33 on touchdowns. So they're like, okay, well, how are the Red Raiders? Well, the Red Raiders are equally good in the red zone, 29 of 33, 88% rather. And they're 23 of 33. So they have scored 1 less touchdown than TCU in the red zone.
Okay.
I'm going to say the coaches would probably like to be more in the mid 80s. I'm just guessing here. 73% doesn't seem impressive to me. 24 of 33.
Okay. I'm not sure what the number is.
Yeah, I guarantee you there's a number.
Yeah.
I just don't know. I don't know what it is.
Can I take a 30?
Absolutely.
So what's your take? I mean, is TCU the best team in the conference?
Yes, and they're the luckiest. I agree with you.
I mean, like you said, who are you going to pick over them?
Mm-hmm. At this point,
I mean, you can't pick the team that just lost by 48, right?
Nope.
I mean, I don't know. I still feel like if K-State hadn't lost Will Howard, you can even get past Martinez, because I think Howard's a better quarterback. If they hadn't lost Howard, I mean, remember, K-State was up 28-10, right?
Yes.
7-10, 28-10.
Mm-hmm.
I guess K-State would be the one, but they just beat them. So it's not, it's just. But if they played 10 times with a healthy Will Howard, I feel like K-State's winning 7 of those.
Well, they can play again.
Well, they're probably gonna. And we'll just have a purple love fest in the Big 12 championship game that I will watch 0 plays of.
By the way, Adrian Martinez is available, has been a full participant, but so far, Chris Kleiman, the K-State coach, is mum on who will be the quarterback starter.
What was even wrong with Martinez?
I think he had a lower leg injury.
Okay.
I think. Kleiman told Big 12 Radio, the team will find out on Saturday who starts at quarterback. We are prepared for both. We have to. That's what Coach Sarkisian said.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, what you got, Kimasabi?
All right. This is the boring one. Okay, this is the boring one that I like to go to on Fridays, but I'm gonna let you pick just one thing.
Okay, I'll try to do that.
This has to happen. What is this? If Texas Tech is gonna win on Saturday, and you could, if you want to, just say they have to score more points than TCU, then knock yourself out.
I'm not gonna do that to you. I'm not gonna be that guy. This has to happen. You know what? I'm going to do something. I'll say get off the field on third down. You have to put them into a position where they're punting the football.
Okay.
Okay. And I think you can do that because of the defense. Jeff?
I don't know how I want to word this, but I know what the outcome needs to be. You need to force them into long second and third downs so that you can force them into one dimension. So I guess it's be good on first down defensively.
Yeah.
But
what it leads to is them becoming one-dimensional.
Yeah.
Offensively.
It's not just hey, we were really good on first down, then they get all of it on second down.
Yeah,
like,
no, I think
it's the comment. You've got to force them into those long situations so that they have to play into some of your strength.
I think that makes a lot of sense. That was something that was crossing my mind about them becoming a one-dimensional football team, one-dimensional offense. That I think you in this game. I think I'm picking my poison here. I think I would want them to try to become a one-dimensional team as far as throwing the football and not running the football. I'm more nervous about running the football, as I said earlier. Well, this will show you, my answer will show you my confidence level in the game for certain. I think you got to win the turnover battle by at least 2 if you're going to win this football game. I can't really see a scenario where you're playing even up on turnovers and stopping their offense enough.
Why don't you just say +3 because that's what they want to do?
I don't think that has to be that bad.
Okay.
Just +2.
+2.
Just +2.
Well,
and then you could add to that, right, with saying, and then you have to turn it into points.
Sure.
And then your offense has to make sure you're getting sevens. And
Although, even if you're not getting points, those are stops
yeah,
for
that's
the
fair.
defense.
That's fair, but
And you imagine it's the stop in a good spot for you. Like, not many turnovers happen on your 1 yard line. They do happen from time to time, but that's not like where they normally happen.
Sure.
They're normally in the middle of the field somewhere that you can really, I don't want to say take advantage of, but prevent them from doing anything with that possession.
Yeah.
It's what killed Tech last week.
so, I mean, again, as I said, that clearly shows that my confidence level is not super high in the game to feel like you can't just go even up in the turnover battle and win the game.
Here's some comments from the Yates Learning Center chat line. O-line has to work and protect, okay? Pressure Duggan and control his rushing ability.
Yeah, that's the hard part. Those two things are difficult to get together, right? To pressure him, but at the same time control his rushing ability, because how many times have we seen it with sometimes our quarterbacks, other quarterbacks? You pressure them too much, and then they take off, and it's a big play running the football. So
Do a little dance and then boom, down the field.
So you have to, I don't know what the right term is here, Coach McGuire or whatever, you have to create this pocket that they can't get out of and where they feel pressured, but at the same time they can't just cut through it and be off to the races.
Let me give you a little defensive coordinator speak here.
Okay.
You have to be gap sound.
Yeah. Gap discipline is a good term, probably.
Yeah. With regard to the turnover department, here's your numbers going into the ball game. Thanks to the 5 interceptions last week, you're -7 in turnovers this year. That's 10th in the Big 12, 119th in the NCAAs. Okay, TCU is +6. That's 2nd in the Big 12 and 20th in the FBS. So,
Like one of these teams is undefeated and the other team is trying to get bowl eligibility.
yeah, it speaks to kind of exactly what you're talking about there. This, Jamie, to add to yours, you can't be turning it over on downs over and over either.
Yeah, I would agree with that. However, I mean, this feels like a game to me where TCU is going to be able to score, and so you can't just say, all right, we're going to punt, because you got to keep up. You got to keep up. So to me, it feels like a game where you need to be going for it on some 4th downs if you're in those situations.
Well, you're gonna.
No, I'm well aware.
You're gonna. You know, you're gonna. When it comes to that, 7:36 this morning here on the morning drive. Your thoughts, your comments on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. This, I think you can be even up on turnovers. They just can't be momentum-killing turnovers on your part, i.e. turnovers in the red zone or turnovers that leads to points to get them back into the game if you have a lead. Well, the offense has given up more points on turnovers than the defense. We talked about this earlier. Coach McGuire pointing out, last night that on the 34 points that you've given up on turnovers so far this year, 21 of them have been pick sixes. Now, you can't afford the pick six.
We got to work on our tackling from our offensive unit. But guys, what's going on there?
Put Baron Morton out there in a kind of a turnover drill. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I'd say it's the wide receivers. They've got the first chance to make the tackle because they're the closest.
What are these old linemen doing? I got to get off their blocks and go get to that guy.
Okay. Yeah, we'll get.
Hey, you
get
started
on
this train. We're just riding with you on it, okay?
This, stick to your number one quarterback. Tech, in all caps, needs to win this game. And then he finishes it with "Go Horns." What the hell's that mean?
I'm less inclined to win this game now.
He also spells horns without a capital H.
Right. #Wreck 'em.
I don't know what that means.
I don't know.
I'm confused.
I think
is this a Texas fan that wants TCU to lose because he hates TCU, or maybe it's a Texas fan that wants the UT to get into the Big 12 championship game, so they
I think
some
it's a
losses
Texas fan needing TCU to lose so that Texas can get in the Big 12 championship game.
But man, you got to spell your own team with a capital.
Right.
Unless you're dissing them.
Well, but it's sometimes you're all thumbs on your phone. You're trying to get that text in.
And autocorrect could have got him. Like autocorrect could have lowercase it because you don't need to capitalize horns ever.
That's fair.
Yeah. Josh says this. I think it's going to be close. Plus 8.5 on the road. It will be a 1-score game in the fourth. Then who knows? But he says we will be in it. Okay, we'll be in it. Yeah, it's good to know that we'll be in it. Hopefully, we'll win it. Couple things.
Really difficult to win it without first being in it.
Yeah, right. Scoring offense, TCU is first in the Big 12, Texas Tech 7th. Total offense, TCU is first, Texas Tech is second. Rushing offense, TCU is second, we're 9th. Passing offense, Tech is first, TCU is second. And then you look at the defense. Total defense, Tech is 4th, TCU is 6th. How about that? But against the rush, Tech is 7th. Against the pass, Tech is 2nd. And that's where Coach McGuire was talking about what your corners have done for you. Mm-hmm. You know, Dadrian Taylor-Demerson and Malik Dunlap.
And your defensive front's been able to put pressure on quarterbacks, too.
This may surprise you. Quarterback sacks, TCU is 8th, Tech is 4th. And he Coach McGuire talked about Tony Bradford yesterday, saying, hey, coming into this season, he didn't have any sacks. He's had like 3 so far this year. So those are, some interesting numbers there for you when you look at this. Time of possession, Tech is 6th, TCU is 5th. So it's not like a K-State offense that's going to eat the clock up.
Right.
Which is, I think, always good, because I think that becomes a problem when somebody goes on these 18-play drives and takes 10 minutes off the clock. It makes it so doggone difficult to kind of get back into the game. 7:40, Boom, Boom, Boom is next this morning on Lubbock Sports Station. Double T 97.3. We are flying through it today. If you have a score prediction that you want to get registered, hit us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line or the Benchmark hotline.
You're tuned in to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
That's not to say that they don't respect the run game that you have, but you're talking about one quarterback leading the conference in passing so far this year. And remember, he didn't start the first game.
All right.
Still played a lot, though.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
I just don't want to disappoint you. As much as I disappoint you, I don't want to disappoint you in some things that you expect from me.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Thank you for being with us. We'll make predictions and talk about the other Big 12 games at 8:30. Show versus show. Morning Drive continues to dominate over the end of the bench. The bottom line and Tech Talk. Bottom line and Tech Talk are both in single digits. Morning Drive's got a powerful 5-point lead over the end of the bench. 6 on the bottom line and 7 on Tech Talk. We're just killing it.
Let's be honest. That's not how we thought this was going to go, right?
Probably not.
No.
Probably not. But,
in fact, the way it has gone is about the opposite, the way I thought it would have gone.
Okay. I thought of you last night when a couple times when Coach McGuire was talking on Red Raider football with Joey McGuire. He was asked about his pregame routine. He likes to walk the field and listen to Jason Aldean, and then he said, I walk our sideline. He also said that he has a lucky coin that he has kept with him since 2003. Okay. And he has it in his right pocket.
That's cool.
Okay. And he's added another coin. He said it came from a Texas Tech veteran. So I'm not sure what all it was, but he has just added that to his coin. So thought that was kind of interesting. He was asked about his favorite nickname on the team, and he listed off J-Bug, Rabbit, Muddy.
J-Bug?
Yeah, the Menace.
Who's J-Bug?
And Dennis Wilburn is the Menace. J-Bug.
We probably could look at the roster and figure it out.
He's one of the defensive guys.
Somebody with a J first name, and
I think it's one of the guys' names I can't pronounce.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Hang on a second here. Anyway, so and he was kind of a fan of the nickname, Coach McGuire's.
I don't have a problem calling people nicknames that I truly know.
Yeah.
Or
Like-
if that's like their, like Pop Isaacs.
Yeah, right.
I mean, we didn't even know he had another name.
Jalen Hutchins is J-Boog.
J-Boog.
Yeah.
But I just have,
Thank you.
I don't know, it's a little uncomfortable for me to act like I'm buddy and calling nicknames to people I've never met in my life.
Okay.
Yeah. But again, if that's the name that again, Pop Isaacs. What's his name, Richard?
Yeah, Richard. Yeah.
Richard?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're not going to go up to him and say,
Yeah. Yeah.
he calls Tony Bradford the mayor.
The mayor.
The mayor.
No,
And-
I probably would call him Tony. Oh, he's pretty big. I'd call him Mr. Bradford, sir. Well, he's going to be like a mayor or something.
That's what
Yeah.
he's,
No.
yeah, he wants to be a policeman, but
Yeah.
he's,
Yeah, I don't know. That's just, and to each their own on the whole nickname thing.
Sure.
You know, I and I mean, I think if you're a coach, you're super tight with those guys, and that's 100% acceptable.
He said this about Tony Bradford, that he said he has come the furthest since the spring in doing what they want them to do,
I think
just in terms of using his hands and his technique and things like that on defense.
I think he's a pretty underrated player.
Yeah. He one of the things that he was really frustrated about with the Baylor loss was, their performance, and we talked about how it felt like it, was a big moment, and they, a sold out crowd and blackout and night game and playing Baylor and all those kinds of things. And then he said this. He said, with regard to Patrick Mahomes, he said he is real. He said you can tell that he loves this university. He said he shook everyone's hand. He said, Coach McGuire said, I wanted him to go home with a win and feeling good about things. And he was really disappointed that they couldn't do that. But described him as genuine and real. And
Yeah, I think
all those kinds of things.
I think that's quite a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
That's, I mean, and I think that's how the encounters you hear with Patrick Mahomes, that's what many people would say.
Yeah.
Which makes you 100% believe it to be pretty much who he really is.
Mm-hmm. Somebody had asked, and somebody's answered this on the Yates Learning Center chat line, but he was asked about who's going to be the starting quarterback, and he was asked by the audience last night, and he said that Baron Morton will be the starting quarterback. The one thing that we didn't know, and this sometimes you get these on this particular show, he's a little more glib than just when he's sitting in front of the media, because part of it is to entertain the audience and the listening audience. Not that this is entertaining, but he said that Barron will start. He said he's getting healthier and healthier, but then added that his ankle was banged up again last week. And it's kind of one of those deals. Once you have an ankle injury, and I think you've had one before, until you really get a chance to rest it, it's going to be there with you, depending on how severely it's sprained or what the injury is. It's just kind of one of those things that just takes time to heal. In a week or two, it's not going to be the case.
Where is he? When does he sound more glib?
I think
on
he's
Thursday nights or with the media?
No, I think all the coaches have been a little more glib on Thursday. I think I think he is less guarded on Mondays when he meets with the media. In terms of, I think he's relatively open on some things. I think he kind of meanders on Monday a little bit, but I think he's more open. I think he's more conversational on Monday than Matt Wells. I think he's more conversational than Cliff Kingsbury, but that was Coach Kingsbury's MO, even on his radio show. So
I've never used the word glib before, so I've heard it before.
Yeah.
Never used it. I just looked up the definition. Fluent and voluble, but insincere and shallow. So when is he being insincere and shallow? I would not have used that definition to describe him then. Yeah.
Okay. then perhaps I'm using the word glib wrong. I mean that in a good way. I meant him being glib in a good way.
I would guess Thursday he's more open.
Yeah. It's just more. I mean, he's fun-loving. How about that?
Yeah.
He's likable.
More gregarious.
Yeah. And I think he's pretty
more
gregarious.
Casual.
Yeah, more
relaxed
casual. Yeah, more relaxed. Maybe that's better.
Than he is in front of the media.
Well, but I think he's very relaxed in front of the media too.
But maybe a little guarded in front of the media compared to Thursdays?
Just a little bit. I mean, I think he's...
I think I had in my mind that glib meant like sad or depressing.
Okay. Well,
and mine, I was completely wrong. I'm completely wrong.
Well, I'm wrong too in how I used it, because I had glib kind of as being a little bit more in the same kind of vein as gregarious. Is how I would describe him as a gregarious guy. I would describe him as a very approachable guy. I would describe him as a kind of a every kind of a regular Joe kind of guy. That's how I would describe him. I don't know him. I've not done anything personal with him, or been out for a beer or drinks or dinner or anything like that. So, but I just, you keep using that word. I don't think you know what it means. Princess Bride in parentheses. Okay, well, again, I'm clearly wrong. So,
okay, let me say that correctly, because it's going to bug me if I don't. You keep using this word. I do not think it means what you think it means. That is the quote from Princess Bride.
Okay, I've never seen that movie.
It's like one of Jeff's favorite quotes.
It really
says it a lot.
I've never seen that movie.
He says it a lot. Must be because you and I say things wrong.
Somebody says this Jamie Thesaurus Lent.
No, I had to look it up.
Yeah, no, right.
I had the definition wrong too. The only difference is I don't use the word.
I meant
because I wasn't certain of what it really meant.
I meant that from an enjoyable standpoint, not to be disparaging.
That's what I was trying to get. I didn't think that you meant that. I was trying to.
No, I meant that in a complimentary manner, both in his appearances on Monday. I've enjoyed going to the Monday press conferences this year. Did not enjoy them last year, prior to Coach Cumbie. I just didn't enjoy them. Mm-hmm. I enjoy them this year. Are we going through the thesaurus or what? No, I don't. No, we're not.
Hey, we're
trying to.
We educated people today.
And ourselves. Sometimes we do it on the
Maybe
fly.
everybody else knew it, but you and I.
Probably so. Probably so.
So there's two people got educated. It's just you and me, Chuck. But oh well, we're in this together.
Somebody says Chuck Wacko Heinz. Yeah, I've got a little wacko in me. Well, like I've said before, we all got a little freak in us, right? 8:25 this morning here on the Morning Drive. We'll make predictions next. There's probably a little freak in everybody.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.